watching Fintech Wave.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Ken from Fintech Wave. I hope you're well. I'm back with another video. I just want to talk about what's going on in the market right now. It's looking crazy out there. Bitcoin is down a lot off its high. It's still above 33,000, but in the last 4 weeks or so, or off the all-time high, it's down probably 50% or more, because I think the all-time high may have been something like 68. Either way, it was in the 60s. Now it's in the 30s. And people are probably freaking out. But one good thing is I'm looking at the volume on Bitcoin, and it's really not that high. So if you ask me, it's not that people are selling like crazy. I don't think there's a lot of frenzy selling going on right now. I think the fact is that there just aren't a lot of buyers. You know, a lot of people are just scared to take a position in Bitcoin right now because naturally they think they're going to buy in at whatever price, like 33. And what if it goes down? Let me wait a little bit and see what happens. And the messed up part is we need to turn this around by the weekend, because if we don't get above 35, 36 by the weekend, then it's going to trickle down more. The weekend is the time when people take profits. So a lot of times you have a position that's up 12%, 20%, 30%. And you're like, yeah, I hope it keeps going up. Next week, it might even be more. And then Friday comes and the weekend comes, and that 12 or 20% or 30% gain that you had on paper is, diminished by this weekend sell-off thing. I don't know what it is with cryptocurrency, but every single weekend, no matter what, whether things are good or bad, people take profits on the weekend, or selling goes on the weekend. Now, there's another thing to consider. It's not always that people are selling out of Bitcoin. One of the things that was exciting news at first for Bitcoin, but then very quickly became a problem for Bitcoin, was the options thing. The fact that you can buy and sell options on Bitcoin has a lot to do with what's going on right now. So when you see a spike like that big red candle right there at around 4 a.m., that's not necessarily somebody dumping all of their Bitcoin or a whole bunch of Bitcoin, because there is a heavy volume right there in comparison to the rest of the trading session. That just could be a whole bunch of short contracts, because there are people who are like, yeah, I want to see it go lower. I want to see it go lower. I shorted it at 50,000 and now I'm still shorting it. And I want it to go to 10 G's, because they play the market on volatility. All they want to see is it go from 50,000 to as low as possible. And then they buy back their short position and make a huge profit. And then they take long positions and they ride it back up. And then when it gets up toppy again, 60,000 or 70,000, they're going to be taking short positions again, trying to ride it back down. And looking at the volume, I don't really feel like the sky is falling. The drag is that this is only happening because the wealthy, power elite individuals in the banking sector, they want to be positioned a certain way when crypto really takes off. And if they were doubting it before and they didn't get a chance to buy in at a certain price or whatever it was, they certainly are showing that they have ways of making crypto go back down, at least by a significant amount. And I hate to say it, but that's, I don't mean to talk conspiracy theory, but there are enough examples of this type of behavior in history of the world, and especially finance, that I don't think what I'm saying is so far-fetched. If you look at the series of bad news, starting with Elon Musk talking about, we're not going to take Bitcoin for Tesla anymore. And then actually, I don't know if it was that started it or that was right before or after certain remarks made by Janet Yellen about the possibility of interest rates going up. That's never a good thing for financial markets. The minute they hear that money is going to be tightened up or interest rates are going to rise, people start selling on financial markets. And Barry Silbert, who is the head of Digital Currency Group, said recently that for the next few weeks, a lot of what happens in Bitcoin and on the crypto markets is going to be contingent on what goes on with the stock market. And we had a down day on the stock market yesterday in the United States. So that has to do with it. So if you're wondering what's going on, I think it's just there aren't many buyers right now because there has been a few straight weeks of kind of uncertainty surrounding the price of Bitcoin. And if you look at, there's an article on Michael Saylor how he's got to take a loss this quarter. I love the word they use. It's not a loss, it's an impairment. Oh man, I love the press, or whoever thought of that one. Let's not use the word loss. Let's call it an impairment for the shareholders. Yeah, he is the head of MicroStrategy, and MicroStrategy has been all over the media lately because they've taken huge positions on Bitcoin. And because those positions were taken when Bitcoin was much higher in price, now when they send out the quarterly statement for the second quarter, he's got to show an impairment on the statement reflecting the fact that he lost money on that bet. And it's also in this article, I'll put a link to it, because of the way the legalities are or whatever, even if Bitcoin turns around tomorrow and goes to 75,000, he's still got to put that loss on his financial record. So that's just the way that works out. But what I do like about this article is what is going on here is he's kind of short on cash to buy back in. He wants to raise 400 million to buy more Bitcoin. And that's what I like about this article is like, whatever, these are paper losses, folks. Keep that in mind. This isn't set in stone. He didn't sell the Bitcoin that is down in price from where he bought it. It's just that on paper, he has to show that, okay, when the quarter started, it was worth, let's say, 500 million, and now it's worth 215 million. The way accounting practices work, he's got to show that impairment when he sends out the Q2 financial report to MicroStrategy shareholders. But I want to emphasize again, these are paper losses. If you had $25,000 worth of crypto 3 months ago and now it's worth 14,000, that's a drag. It is, but it's psychological. Step back and remember what this is. The long and short of it is, I believe the market is being manipulated by people who want to keep Bitcoin as low as possible so they can buy as much of it as they can before it really turns around and takes off. And it will turn around and take off. These are paper losses. And if you look at Michael Saylor at MicroStrategy, he's still ready to buy more, even if it means he has to float a note to raise 400 million to get the cash to buy more Bitcoin. So I would say just the fact that heavy hitters in the space are still buying it up should give you some comfort knowing that if you're in crypto or particularly Bitcoin, you haven't made the worst mistake in the world. Remember the crypto winter when you had families who sold everything, sold a house and bought crypto with it, and then crypto went down to like from 20,000 to 3,000. We're not at 3,000, folks, and I don't see that coming at all. So, guys, it's only on paper. It's only today, or maybe this week, or maybe this month. All right? Watch out for other bad news that I'm sure the people that want to manipulate this thing are going to be trying to coordinate. I hope it doesn't happen, but while they have people scared and while they have this uncertainty and lack of buyers in the space, it's a perfect time to come up with some more bad news if they want to try to manipulate this thing down further. Because that's what you're watching. You're watching manipulation go on, and we just have to kind of hold on until things start happening in such a way that the manipulation factor is not going to have as much impact as it has right now. That's it for this week's episode. Right now, there's a black cloud over the market, and I believe there's a lot of manipulation going on. You're not the only one that's down. Big players in the space are down millions, and they have to report this on their financial statements. Everybody's taking a hit right now. You also have to keep in mind that, every day you wake up and look at the market, Bitcoin's not going to go higher and higher and higher. It is going to level out someplace. We tested some highs. Now we're testing some lows. But as one last note, if you have a significant portion of crypto, it should not be sitting on an exchange. Get a hardware device. I recommend a Ledger Nano, but there are other ones out there. Do your research. Good things are always going to happen with cryptocurrency. It's the greatest breakthrough since the internet began, and we're right at the beginning of it. Of course, there's going to be ups and downs. All right, but stay positive, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. This is Ken from Fintech Wave. Thanks for checking out this latest episode. If you like the content, please hit like and subscribe. Shout out to all the people who've subscribed already. I'm going to try to keep the quality content coming on Fintech. I appreciate you. And there's a link in the description. The Fintech Wave theme is now an NFT. See you next time, everybody. Take care.